Assalamualaikum to our dearest supervisor Encik Faiz bin Ismail and our lovely panels Dr. Devika Krishnan and Madam Nur Ain Yaakob. My name is Siti Muzalifah binti Zulkifli and my partner
Nurul Ain Afika binti Anwar. So today we'll be presenting about our research project.
The topic for our research project is Student Lifestyle Lead to Obesity, a study on obesity among UiTM students in Seremban.
Let's begin.
So this is our research background, which is obesity is a fat accumulation that is irregular and can cause a health risk. Obesity also defined as a gain in body weight of more than 20% of an individual optimal weight. According to World Health Organization 2016, overweight adults accounted for more than 1.9 billion adults aged 18 and above. Over 650 million adults were overweight and obese. In addition, Malaysia's population was also ranked second in Southeast Asia for the percentage of overweight and obese people in 2010 and 2014. For our problem statement is, Malaysia was the top country with the highest rate of obesity and overweight in the previous years. Other than that, unhealthy food intake in daily life becomes one of the factors that lead to obesity because the process of method inside the food will make the food become unhealthy to the body. For the next problem statement is because of the lack of physical activity lead to obesity. By being physically active can help people maintain or reduce weight. And the last one is obesity problem will lead to chronic disease. So for this slide, this is our research question and research objective. There are three research questions, which is the first one are, what is the relationship between food intake and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban? The second one is, what is the relationship between exercising and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban? And the last one is the relationship between sleep duration and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. Now we move on to the research objective. For our first research objective is to determine the relationship between food intake and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. The second one is to determine the relationship between exercising and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. And the last one is to determine the relationship between sleep duration and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban.
Next is literature review. So, for our research project, we are referring some of the previous studies on the obesity and the lifestyle. The first one, obesity, Ishaq 2020 mentioned that obesity and overweight is the global epidemic not only among adults but also in children and adolescents. The second one is Kirkadi 2018 mentioned that the obesity and overweight is the major health problem. Next, food intake. Cheng and Liu 2009 mentioned that there is no significant different evaluation on student daily food intake. For the second one, Hassan C. and Rahman 2017 stated that majority of Malaysians eat 6 times a day. Next, exercising. Some adolescents associate exercise with outside activities, while others believe that physical activities can be done indoors. He also mentioned that quality on the facilities, such as lack of sufficient playing field, prevented the children from leading a healthy lifestyle. On the sleep duration, Core 2021 said that sleep duration can influence by an individual biological development. Next, Asiri 2018 stated that sleep quality has the ability to negatively influence on the individual academic, functional, and social performance. Next, conceptual framework. The conceptual framework proposed a direct relationship between student lifestyle, such as food intake, exercising, and sleep duration, with the obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. As we can see here, independent variable, which is food intake, exercising, and sleep duration. Meanwhile, for the dependent variable is the obesity among UiTM students in Seremban.
Now, for the hypothesis, for the food intake in H01, there is no significant relationship between food intake and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban, and HA1, there is a significant relationship between food intake and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. We move on to the exercising. In H02, there is no significant relationship between exercising and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. And HA2, there is a significant relationship between exercising and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. For sleep duration, in H03, there is no significant relationship between sleep duration and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban, and HA3, there is a significant relationship between sleep duration and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. Next, for the methodology, our research design is a cross-sectional design by using a quantitative method. Our research population is among UiTM Seremban students, which is 5,000 students of faculty FSPP, FSKM, and also FSR. Craigie and Morgan table, which is 500,000 population, is equal to 157 is our sample size. And we use sampling technique, which is stratified random sampling, and using Likert scale for our data measurement. In our data collection, there were Part A until Part E. Part A is demography, Part B is obesity among UiTM Seremban students, Part C is food intake, Part D exercising, and the last one is sleep duration. Next, we also use person correlation in our data research.
So, for the finding on the demographic profile on gender, female is the highest than male, which amounted around 229 respondents. Meanwhile, for the age, the more respondent is from 21 to 23 years old is collected. For the between the diploma and degree, the more respondent is degree, which amounted around 275 respondents. So for the faculty between those three, FSPPP is the highest, which amounted around 241 respondents. Next is height. So the more respondent is on height 151 centimeter until 160 centimeter, which amounted around 144 respondents. Next, for the weight, the more respondent is on the 51 kilogram until 60 kilogram. That amounted around 107 respondents. The last one is BMI. On our survey, we have input our BMI table so that the respondent can easier choose either they are underweight, healthy, obese, or overweight on the chart. So as the data collected, we can see there are more healthy person on the respondent, which is amounted around 227 people. Test, we are using the Chrome batch alpha, which the value must more than 0.6. As the result show, on the independent variable, the value on the food intake is 0.62 with the total of 3 number of items. For the exercising, the value is 0.754 with the number of items 5. Next, for the sleep duration, the value is 0.795 with the item of 3. For the dependent variable is obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. The value is 0.719 with the number of item 4. So, we can see here the reliability test with the Chrome batch alpha is reliable to be used on this research. So next is the normality test. As we can see the result on the table shown, we can see the normal distribution with the squidness and kurtosis. So for the normal distribution on the squidness, the value must around negative 3.0 until positive 3.0. So for the kurtosis, normal distribution is negative 10 until positive 10.0. So based on the data, we can see on the table, on the independent variable and dependent variable, the squidness and kurtosis is all in the normal distribution.
Based on 4.4 table, there is a significant relationship between food intake and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban, where p-value is 0.00, which is less than alpha 0.05. So the result HA1 was accepted and H01 was rejected. Next, in 4.5 table, there is a significant relationship between exercising and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban, where also p-value is 0.00, which is less than alpha 0.05. So the result HA2 was accepted and H02 was rejected. And the last one, based on table 4.6, there is a significant relationship between sleep duration and obesity among UiTM students in Seremban, where p-value is 0.00, which is less than alpha 0.05. So the result HA3 was accepted and H03 was rejected.
Next, discussion. As a result, there is a significant relationship between the food intake, exercising, and sleep duration with the obesity among UiTM students in Seremban. From this result also, it can be proved that the obesity is linked by the student lifestyle in terms of food intake, exercising, and sleep duration. So, to prevent the obesity and create a healthier lifestyle is by regularly exercising, changing the cultural habit, and having a good sleep. By having a healthier lifestyle, it can also prevent from the chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart diseases, and high blood pressure. The Ministry of Health (MOH) is also working to prevent the weight gain in Malaysia by reformulating processed food to meet a specified nutritional target and standard.
In conclusion, there are limitations on this research project, which is on the data collected, because it only focused on UiTM students in Seremban only. Besides that, the data collected may be not accurate as the data is collected through online platform, which is Google Form. To conclude, the obesity is a severe health problem that must be addressed, and obesity is growing like an epidemic that impacts both adults and children. This study has known that all independent factors have a positive correlation with obesity among UiTM Seremban students. Thank you.